Hey, welcome back to the Lorcana YouTube channel. We are here with another Market Watch video. This is going to be predominantly focused on Whispers in the Well, since that's the latest that just came out. And of course, it is shaking up the market the most. I hope you're excited about Whispers. We are going to have pack openings here soon on the channel. I'm thinking starting next week. I think our case is arriving tomorrow, but that's the recording of this video. So by the time this video is uploaded, I think it'll be about 2 days old. So hopefully we will have a good amount opened and we will have the video of that ready to go. It'll be our first time opening packs, I think, in the new setup with our new lighting. And we're really hoping that everything, all the quality improves on that and we continue to make improvements to the channel. Separately in news, when this video is released, we will be at the Pikes Peak card show for another time. I have new equipment for that one. We had a lot of difficulty in syncing up audio with the video because the audio quality that we're getting from the camera was really bad. And so I tried like a microphone here and syncing that up with different angles and stuff. It was not working out well, and the editing process just takes forever. And with 2 full-time jobs, it's not going well. But I have a new solution. I should be able to at least run the camera the entire time the show is running. It'll record all to an SD card. I have external mics that will have enough battery power to last the entire time, and it's going to directly record to the camera itself. So assuming everything goes smoothly, we'll have 8 hours of footage with the audio and the video synced up entirely, such that it's just clipping out the parts where nothing's really going on, because that happens quite a bit during card shows. And then there are times where like there's 4 people at the table and I'm trying to figure out what's going on with everything. So I'm hoping that is something you enjoy watching. I really think that's the other side when we talk about these Market Watch videos. Obviously, I'm buying a lot of cards. I've slowed down due to Sahana, but we are still selling cards, and we're selling sealed product, things like that at card shows. In good news, we have applied to be in the Denver card show, so hopefully we can find out what's happening with that, and we're looking forward to being there in December selling if we get selected for it. But going back, when it comes to buying and selling Lorcana, we're doing Market Watch videos. Hopefully you appreciate the other side of it in terms of selling and seeing how that process goes. And I want to give more insight into things like that as well. And right now, everything from the business side, the financial stuff is happening on Instagram. It's been a little bit quiet as I've been dealing with Sahana, but there should be more activity on there coming soon. So would appreciate it if you're following on both. And as always, keep up the comments, keep up the likes. And one final thing before we talk about the Market Watch. The last video, or I guess 2 videos ago that we had out about the Costco bundle, and we're going to talk about that today. There was a couple, or at least one spicy comment, I'll say. I don't mind any of the negativity. I understand if you don't like the product, if you don't like what Ravensburger's doing, you don't like Disney, all of that, understand. Have your opinion with it. Don't buy the product. Spend your money how you want to spend your money. I totally respect that. What I do ask from everyone in the comments is to not use any foul language. I never use those in my video. I always try to assume that a child is listening to me, and if you have children, I try to respect that, to where I'm never using foul language in front of children. This is a game full of Disney characters, so I think of this predominantly as a child's game. Obviously, Disney spans decades, and so there's a lot of nostalgia. There's a lot of things that people of all ages enjoy. But I want to keep this community as welcoming to all ages as possible. So I'm going to ask everyone to not use any swear words or even partially swear words with a letter missing or anything like that in the comments on any of the YouTube channels. I can tell you now that if they are there, I will delete them, and if I see a repeat user, I'm just going to block you from the channel. This is a side hustle that currently makes no money, and that's perfectly okay with me. I don't mind that at all. I have a full-time job. I enjoy what I do, and I like this side hobby. But I want to keep everything positive, and I want to keep everything inclusive for children. So if you don't like something, cool, no worries about that. You can let me know. But I do think that you can let me know that you don't like something without swearing. So that's my ask for the community, and I hope you respect that. So let's get into it. All right, Whispers in the Well is out. It is officially 1 week old, or I guess 1 week and 1 day, and there's been a lot of movement on stuff. I think you're seeing in Whispers the normal activity that you would see, right? Some cards that are meta relevant, they're rising or they're staying steady, which is a bit abnormal for most cards. And other cards, like let's look down, like an epic. An epic has already dropped down. Really wasn't selling to less than $3 for an epic. Like, that's a very, very sudden drop. We're seeing that in less than a week here. So keep that in mind when you're buying product in Whispers in the Well. If you're buying single, if you don't have a need to get it right away, wait on that. There are some enchanted cards that I want. There's basically 3 enchanted cards I want from this set. And I actually did have an opportunity to buy one of those the day that this set came out. But the ask was honestly more than I was willing to pay, because I knew the card was going to come down in value. And since that opportunity happened, the card has come down over $150 in value from what I could buy it for now. It's effectively a 50% drop in terms of what the ask is on it, simply because I waited 1 week. Imagine what's going to happen when I wait 2 weeks or 3 weeks, right? If we're looking at the enchanted that I think anyone who watches this channel or knows me knows that I want, it's the Simba. Like, I want every Lion King enchanted. That's what I do. As of the release of Whispers in the Well, I'm missing 2 cards from the Lion King enchanted. I'm missing the Scar and I'm missing the Simba. And the price is pretty low on this. If we go even a month, we have 5 confirmed sales. 5 confirmed sales, and supply is going to increase on this. We already have 30 listings on it. We're going to see more on that. Yeah, $71 isn't necessarily a bad price to pay on certain enchanted cards, but it doesn't seem like this card is meta relevant, so the price is going to come down. So I'm planning on waiting on this, and that's my advice for you, is if there's a card you're looking for, if it's not meta relevant, you can probably wait literally a month and you can probably get it at a pretty good price. If it's meta relevant, you probably need to wait about 3 months. And I think that's what we're seeing with something like Dumbo, right? When Dumbo came out, the price on that was crazy. It was selling, I don't know, like how Cinderella is selling. Cinderella, Dream Come True, is selling for $62. And these are confirmed sales. And how do I know it's confirmed sales? Because I pulled one of these on the release night for a sealed tournament. And when I saw it was selling for $60, I sold the card. This card is going to come down in value. It'll probably take the path of Dumbo, and it'll likely take 2 to 3 months before we see it drop. If we look at Dumbo, I think it's selling for just under $40 now in the non-foil, right? It started at around $60. That's kind of what we see for like the, I won't say chase, but like a very meta relevant card that is very powerful. And let's be real, if you don't play the game, this card is crazy powerful. So at the end of your turn, if you played a princess character this turn, and she does count as a princess, you may put a card from your hand into your inkwell face down to draw a card. Big thing to note here, you don't have to exert this card, leaving her open to be challenged. And you do not have to play a card that is inkable. So if you have an issue with your hand draw or cards that you drew later and nothing is inkable and you can't get cards in your inkwell, if you have this character out, you can put one of those cards, an extra card into your inkwell, to draw a card that is insanely powerful. The only downside of this card is, I guess it can be brawled if that's still available and it's not inkable. But honestly, if you're playing this card and you have princess cards to support it, which I assume you would, I don't know why you would ever ink this card anyways. So I expect this card to be meta relevant for quite some time. But if you are trying to master set cards, you really like Cinderella, you really like princess cards, and you can wait on this card before you start buying it. If you need it for a competition tournament, I'm sorry, but yeah, this card is probably going to be a staple for a while. So if you notice the thumbnail, or I guess the image for this, it was the questioning of, can a duck and Cinderella take on the gargoyles? And right now, Cinderella is knocking it out of the park. If we go to Goliath, clan leader, and Whispers in the Well, this is still a very strong showing from a legendary card. You can see that there was a price drop, and then now it is coming back up and starting to stabilize a little bit out. We are still seeing sales at $35. We saw as high as $45. It's another meta relevant card. So at the end of each player's turn, if they have 2 or more cards in their hand, they choose and discard cards until they have 2. If they have fewer than 2 cards in their hand, they draw until they have 2. This can be very useful for you. When I played, obviously I was playing a multicolor deck because it's sealed and I only had 6 packs. But there were very few times where I had more than 2 cards in my hand. Oftentimes it was my hand got emptied pretty quickly, and so at the end of your turn, you get a guaranteed 2 cards. If you play both cards that you have, or you have only 1 card left, you play at the end of your turn, you get 2 back. The downside, of course, which is why the value may be holding steady right now, is your opponent can do the same thing, and there's not anything you can do about that. But this is another legendary card, a strong showing from this. I'm not going to make any predictions as to what this is going to do in the near term. I suspect the price is... Well, I just said I wasn't going to make any predictions, so I'm going to stick to that. And let's go to Webby. All right, we got Webby, Vander Quack. The very cool one to see for me in Whispers is the big jump up that it had. It was selling 286 items sold at $14, and now we're seeing the price increase. Do we have sales? We do have a few sales at 25, even as high as, those are foils, I don't count those, $26. So I guess one thing to talk about here is if you're newer to Lorcana or haven't noticed this trend, this is something important to note, is that when there's an enchanted card of the same card, it obviously does the same thing. The cold foil of that card will always be suppressed quite a bit because people who are trying to play the card with a very fancy deck go for the enchanted cards, and so the demand on the cold foil is much lower. If you look at a card that doesn't have an enchanted variant of it, then oftentimes you might see the cold foil sell from anywhere between 2x to as much as 10x of the base version of the card. And I know you're saying, wait, 10x, is that serious? Yeah. Take a look at first chapter legendary cards. I think a good one we just did, or I guess we just showed in the Costco opening of the first chapter, is we pulled the John Silver legendary foil. And I want to say that the non-foil of that is about $1 to $2, but that foil variant of it is $20. So you can have a big difference between the cold foil price and the base version when there's not an enchanted. When there is an enchanted, yeah, this is, like a $5, $6 difference. It doesn't always work out to be that case, but people would rather have the enchanted version than they want the foil version of it. And we're going to see that across the next card as well. When we go to Demona, also has an enchanted variant of it. Another legendary card, $22, and we're seeing the standard, it drop, and then a little bit of rise, and then now it's kind of holding steady at this $22 price point. We had a foil sell at $30, so $7, $8 more than the base version of it. I'm guessing that this card is probably going to stay steady for a little bit longer, unless there's like a big tournament or something that happens soon, and it's either used or not used, then we won't see a big change in this card, I'm guessing. I did find that the common Demona was actually quite useful as a challenger +2, so it attacked as a 6/6. That was actually quite useful for me. It took care of, I think, was it Prince Philip? I think Prince Philip is the bodyguard 310 from this set, which is quite strong, but Demona honestly made quick work of that, and I was able to break through and clear the board and ended up winning the game from that. So what do I want to say more about these legendary cards? I'm mostly just really excited about the gargoyles in this. I do want the enchanted cards. I think it's a fun mechanic with adding boosts in there and the other things that they're doing with it. And I hope you are enjoying opening packs if you're doing that. If you're watching for the market and the trends of Whispers in the Well, it's 1 week after release, so right now it's chaos. I think if you're seeing a card trending drastically upwards and you pull it, I'd say this is the time to sell. That's what I'm doing. We'll see if I'm wrong about it. But I think we've seen set over set that once a card either has enough supply or falls out of the meta, the price drops off quickly. And so I like to sell high. When it's selling on the upward trend, when it's on the upward trend, that's when I like to sell. And ideally buying is on the downward trend for me. if it's for personal collection. If it's for trying to resell later, it becomes a bit more complicated because you don't know when the bottom out of that is going to be until you have to be able to understand the risk associated with that and try to make an educated guess about what it's going to do. But predicting markets like that is basically impossible unless, I don't know, you can see through time and space and see into the future. Unfortunately, I still adhere to linear time. So there's a past, present, and future, and I can't really see into the future. So I do the best I can. All right. That's it for the sealed cards that I want to talk about in this video. The other thing I wanted to talk about is look at the trends between what we're seeing in the sealed things, or in the sealed market. So Fabled is dropping some, but honestly, Fabled is doing incredibly well overall. It's been out for 3 months now. We had a big jump up to 160. Even now, it's selling at 125. The lowest listing is still at 125. Fabled is still holding strong on this one. I'm not going to make predictions about whether or not it's going to continue to hold steady, go up, or go down, but I do think it is quite noteworthy that it is selling at 125. And if we look at Whispers, which is still technically in pre-release, but look at the drop we're seeing. So let's just do a month. The drop on this has been drastic. We were seeing 65 items sold at 105. It's come back up, but you can still get this 5 boxes right now for 116, 117. No shipping, but taxes included on that. That is pretty stark compared to what we look at with Fabled, to where 1 month afterwards, the lowest we saw was 132, and then we had a big jump, collapse back down again, and another big jump again, right? So Fabled is still doing quite well. Whispers in the Well, it doesn't look like it's doing nearly as well, which honestly I'm okay with, because there's a lot of cards in this set that I really want just because I'm a fan of gargoyles, and it seems like I'm going to be able to get them for the cheaper, or on the cheap, especially if we go back to everything and we look at the iconic cards. Look at this iconic card here, the Cinderella. Oh no, that's Cinderella Enchanted, sorry. The Hades iconic is effectively selling for half of what Mickey currently is doing. And remember that the first Mickey Mouse's iconic that were pulled sold for over $3,000. I remember watching the one on eBay, and it sold for $3,600 ungraded. Now I think they're still holding at about $1,100, $1,200. Obviously the mini is maybe around half of that, but we're seeing this pulled 1 week and we have a huge drop of it, already $640. It has confirmed sales at that price. I don't know if I've seen the aerial yet. I'll look to see if there's sales on something like that, but I think that's going to show how much cheaper that Whispers in the Well is likely going to be when compared to Fabled. So what that means for you is, if you're looking for a mid to long-term hold on booster boxes, similar to what people probably are doing on the first chapter, I think Fabled is the best bet of any of the recent sets. It looks like it's better than Rain and Jafar. It looks like it's better than, what was the set before that? Arcasia's Island, yeah, definitely before that, or definitely better than that. And right now, it's already on a path to be looking better than Whispers in the Well. So, if you're not trying to go into the first chapter, Fabled may be a pretty decent option outside of like Rise of the Floodborn. Speaking of first chapter, you can't make a video without talking about the first chapter in Disney Lorcana, especially when it comes to Market Watch. This is an interesting one. So, there was a lot of thoughts about the Costco first chapter collector set and how that was suppressing the market on the first chapter. And take a look. The last confirmed sale we have is October 15th at $1,600. Before that, we had $1,500. People are still holding out for $1,550, and nobody is biting at that price. It has not sold in almost a month now, and a lot of that has to do with this. Like it, don't like it, I'll leave that up to you. Obviously, if you can get it at the MSRP cost of it, it is definitely worth holding on to for that. I think other people have made videos about the same thing. Totally understand that. It is selling right now for 65, 75, as high as 95. That's kind of crazy. I think that's a bit of an overpay, but you can get it right now for about 74. Even if we look at like the gold star seller, that's still $74 on this. So if we look at the total value at 6 packs plus the foil 6 packs, even at $10, $60 plus another $5 for the promo card, $5, and then you might be able to assume there's $10 in value in the portfolio. I wouldn't say that. I think this is the point where I'm like, I don't really know if that's necessarily the value of it. I think I'd have to look at, if we look at first chapter booster packs, and we're looking at loose packs, it's like $10. Yeah, I don't think I would be at the $74 price point on this, at least current value of it. If it's something you're wanting to do, I think for a longer term hold, then there's probably value in something like that. I've commented this on, I think Scrooge McDuck's video, maybe more than one, or replied to him. So shout out to him as well. I love his market watch videos as well too. I appreciate all his insights that he has on it. But unless we've seen downward pressure on the first chapter, which we are currently seeing thanks to the Costco collector set, we see overall that, wrong one. Let's try that again. We see overall, if we look at the past year, that the first chapter goes up. And then we see these periods where there's strict downward pressure. So if you don't know, when we hit the high of like 424, 425, somewhere in there, there was a raffle that Ravensburger did releasing the first chapter and Rise of the Floodborn booster boxes for, I think maybe like 140 or less. I can't remember the exact price of this. It happened in April, May timeframe, and my memory is just not that great. I'm sorry. And we saw a big drop in the market from that. After that event was over, we got down to like 225. We saw an increase all the way back up to 350. I made a video on that. His Costco bundles announced. I lost it there. That's fine. And we're seeing the downward pressure again, right? Once those get bought up and we start seeing that it's not available in stores anymore, not available to ship, it's not available in my area at this point, we're going to start seeing the first chapter start to go up again. I'm calling it now. I think it's probably the easiest prediction I'm going to make in my life. I know I can't see in the future, but I'm willing to purchase at a lower rate on the first chapter and then watch it go up. So that'll be it for this video. I don't think I have any other comments or conclusions to make about this. I hope you are enjoying Lorcana. I hope you're enjoying Whispers in the Well. I'm going to continue doing these market watch videos on a weekly basis with the monthly at the end of every month. And then the plan will be around New Year's timeframe to do a end of year market watch for Lorcana to see what trends we've had over the course of the entire year. So if you enjoy this content, please please subscribe. We are on the path to maybe being monetized at some point. We're, I think, 142 subscribers today, which is freaking huge. Considering a month and a half ago, I think we're at 32, 36. I don't know. But seeing the views, seeing the comments, seeing all the support for Sahana means the world to me. Sahana, the Doc, Atira, they are my world. But we love it so much. We really do appreciate all of you. Thank you. Thank you for all the kind words, for all the support. I really do appreciate that. So I will end it there. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.